This podcast is hosted on podhome.fm, the most modern podcast hosting platform. Podhome offers unlimited episodes and podcasts, and unlimited use of Podhome AI, which generates transcripts, clips, chapters, title suggestions, show notes, and much more. And all of that for just $15.99 a month or $185 per year. That's a steal. So go to podhome.fm and start your 30-day trial now. And enjoy the show with Joe.
Transmitting live from the Asylum Studios, deep in the bowels of Southwest Texas, it's the Joe Rooz Show. The show where we talk about anything and everything. Where nothing is sacred, nothing is watered down, and nothing is PC.
Alrighty, hey folks, this is Joe Rooz, and of course it is great to be with you guys once again, transmitting live tonight from the Asylum Studios, from the Pimple on the backside of Texas, the beautiful city of Eagle Pass, and of course doing the very best we can to bring you the best quality talk radio we could muster without all the bluster. Welcome to the Joe Rooz Show. Note to self: don't wipe your nose when the camera turns on when you have a coffee spill on your finger. Okay? Because now I got a wet nose and it smells like coffee. But it's Monday. It is Monday, the 16th of February, 2026, 19:02 hours. We actually started on time when we're supposed to. So that's great. It's always a good way to start the week. Folks, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Tonight, we've got a really, really interesting guest joining us, Ann Charles. She's a USA Today bestselling author who's built a successful career writing mystery novels that mix suspense, humor, and even a little bit of paranormal, which we like. We like paranormal stuff, right? Because we are somewhat paranormal ourselves. She's carved out her own lane in a very competitive industry, and tonight we're going to talk about how she did it. You know, what it takes to become a best-selling author, what's really happening behind the scenes in the publishing world. And she'll be joining us here momentarily once we get all of the usual housekeeping stuff out of the way. All right, so how about we do that? All right, folks, so I hope you guys were able to check out the show over the weekend. We had two, actually. We did Saturday's show. Our resident crypto psychic, Marissa Lee, was with us on Saturday, and we had a great conversation about cryptocurrencies and all things going on in the news, rumors, dispelling rumors. We talked about love and all that stuff. You know, love, Valentine's Day crap. But we did talk about all that stuff, and it was nice. It was nice. And then Sunday we had our Bible study show, which we always do. And I apologize for my obnoxious behavior on Valentine's Day. But now it's Monday, and I could be obnoxious about it again. So we're okay. There we go. Anyway. No, Valentine's Day is nice. You should have a nice time on Valentine's Day, and I'll toe the line here, and I'll say, yes, Valentine's Day is very special, and yes, it is incredibly important to show your partner, your love, your spouse, you know, whatever it might be, how much you care and appreciate them all, you know. But that should be all year round, not just one day a year, right? Okay. So I said the company line. We're done with that. All right. But as far as Valentine's Day is concerned, reminder, this is a live show, weeknight, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please don't forget that. Also, our Saturday shows are every other Saturday at noon Central Time. And then, of course, our Sunday Bible study show at 2 p.m. at Central Time. So make sure that you check those things out. And when you do, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends, your family, and your followers. That way you'll help us boost the algorithm. It's all about the algorithm, folks. You got to boost the algorithm. At least that's what they tell us in podcasting school. Boost the algorithm. Get found, get noticed. And the only way we can do that is through your interactions with the show. So please don't forget, like, subscribe, share with your friends, your family, and your followers. All right. Also, please don't forget to head over to our website, joerooz.com. I moved the mouse, so I keep on reaching in the wrong spot for it. joerooz.com. And don't forget, look for that contact form. It's up there in the upper right pancake. Just click that thing, open it up, and send us over a message. Let us know what you're thinking. If you have any questions, comments, cares, concerns, any issues, any complaints, which you shouldn't have, but if you do, send them on over to us. Any suggestions for a particular guest you'd like us to try to get, or maybe a particular topic you'd like us to discuss on the show, we're always open to that. So please check it out. Contact form, send us over a message. If you don't want to use the contact form, that's fine. I don't blame you. I don't like contact forms either, but you can always use the email address, info@joerooz.com. That's info@joerooz.com. And another great idea is you can actually use the comment section right down below there and send us a message through the comment section. Plenty of ways for you to reach us, and we'd love to hear from you guys, so please make use of it. All right, so tonight's guest is brought to us by Creative Edge. Publicity at its finest for all creatives. Your brand, your future. Creative Edge. All right, now tonight's guest, like we said, is USA Today bestselling author Ann Charles. She writes spicy mysteries packed with comedy, suspense, and romance, and also some paranormal mayhem. With a BA in English, focused on creative writing from University of Washington and memberships in Sisters in Crime and Western Writers of America, she's built a career blending genres in ways that don't neatly fit into one particular box. We're going to talk about how she built that career and what spicy mystery really means. We'll talk about that, and what it takes to really stand out in a crowded publishing world. Ann, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to tonight. This is going to be fun.
Yes, it is. It's always fun. The show is always fun. It may not look like it. It may not feel like it, but it is. It's always fun. We like to keep things moving along. We've had several guests that were brought over to us from Creative Edge, and I noticed my camera is flickering again, so I got to figure out what's wrong with that. But see, it wouldn't be my show if I didn't have some kind of a technical issue going on, whether it's the audio, whether it's the video, whatever it might be. See, this is why I didn't want to do video casts. This is why I just wanted to stick to audio.
It's supernatural. It's a ghost. You have ghosts around you.
I do. Oh, actually, absolutely. I can tell you some ghost stories about this house.
There you go. That's
absolutely.
They want to be part of it.
Yes, and they are in some ways. So we've had several guests from Creative Edge, and honestly, I love having you guys on. Number one, because you're punctual. Number two, because you actually respond to the emails that we send out. I appreciate that. And so I got to make sure I send Mickey a thank you note special for that one. But it's great to have you, and I'm really looking forward to this myself. So let me ask you, I have a few icebreaker questions that I want to jump right on into. So I'm going to hit you right out of the gate.
Okay,
all right?
Let's do it.
If you had to give a TED Talk tonight, right now, with no prep, what topic are you ranting about?
Oh, probably how marketing just keeps changing and changing and changing for us authors, because I've been digging into all kinds of stuff on YouTube and other areas I won't go into at this point. But yeah, it would be about the nightmare of marketing for authors.
Yeah, actually, that's it's not only a nightmare for authors, it's a nightmare for podcasting too. So I'm sure we could commiserate on that subject. Very, 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 very fluidly, to use the word of the day. That's the word that was floating around my job today. Fluidly.
Fluidly. Okay.
It seemed like every department head was using that word today, so I just had to work it in somewhere along the way.
Well, you've done it. You've followed through with what you're supposed to do there at work.
Yes, ma'am.
So
yeah, absolutely. We aim to please.
Yeah.
We absolutely aim to please. So, what is something that you are unreasonably competitive about?
Oh, wow.
So I got you the easy one first.
I know that was much easier. Well, I'm a Virgo, and I'm not super into astrology, but I follow it enough to know that Virgos are very a nice word for anal. Anyway, we tend to have this, you got to do it this way, got to do it that way. It's not really author related, because I think there's so many authors out there in the world, and it makes it wonderful for readers that you're not just relying on one to entertain you. So I'm not really competitive with that. I'm kind of competitive against myself, I guess. There's a lot of times when I want to give up and just say, let's go back to working fast food. It was easier a long time ago, but I just keep challenging myself to do better, keep trying, do whatever else is new. And the newness thing is scary a lot of times, but keep going.
Okay, that's good. You know, and Virgos. See, I'm a Scorpio, and
Oh boy.
my closest friend is a Virgo, and when the two of us get together,
Yeah.
it is just an explosion of creativity.
Oh, cool.
I mean, seriously, it really is. And
Yeah.
you know, and because we're both very particular about how we want to do things,
Mm-hmm.
it also helps that we both have a very twisted and dark sense of humor. So we were able to put a lot of really good stuff together. Back in the day, we used to, when video cameras were still shoulder mounted, those
Yeah.
big ones,
Yeah.
we had one, and we used to go around. We would drive around Coney Island, Brooklyn, at like 2:00 in the morning, and we would videotape homeless people and interview them. Yeah, not the smartest thing.
I
to
mean,
do.
not I don't mean to laugh at that. It's just 2 a.m. That's like, wow.
Yeah, well, like I
I'd
said,
be,
not the smartest thing to do.
I'd be very nervous.
But we
Not
did.
that, I mean, they're probably fine, but it's just like you're courting. For me, that's like, oh boy, that's daring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I say it wasn't the
Yeah.
smartest thing to do. But somehow, some way, we made it through that, and you know, we would do all kinds of crazy. We would write skits and vignettes and record these things only for the friends. And
Yeah.
thank God, just thank God, I have the only copies of everything.
That's really nice. We didn't have social media. I don't know when you're talking about, but when I was teen, and into my 20s, there wasn't social media like this. So all the stuff that, I either did, or what recorded, that's safely away,
Yes, yes. You know, this was probably 1990, 91, somewhere around there, 89, 90, 91. So yeah, pre cell phones, pre social media stuff, all that great stuff. So
I know
yeah.
all the good times way back
Yes.
when.
If social media was around when I was growing up doing these things, I would not have a public image whatsoever. I'd be hiding under a rock someplace.
Yeah.
But I do have all the videotapes. They're all in a box in the other room there. They're locked away. Nobody has access to them, and nobody ever will have access to them.
They go with me.
That's correct.
They go in the grave or they're cremated with me, Dan.
I have explicit instructions that the day that I go into the hospital, they
That's
get
it.
burned. That's it.
Funny.
That's all. But anyway. So when did you first decide that writing wasn't just going to be a hobby for you, but something that you really wanted to pursue seriously?
I was in my mid-20s. This is not what I wanted to do. Writing for a living. It seemed very if I would have, thinking back then, it was a lot of writing. It was hard work, and I just like to read a lot. And in my 20s, I kept running into stories that I wanted more from the ending. It wasn't that it was a horrible ending. I just wanted more, and covering maybe a plot thread that was dropped. I wanted to know more about that. So I got to the point where I just thought, well, write your own story. And then you can write the ending you want and make it as long as you want, do whatever you want to do. So that's kind of what got me going. And I come from, my father is an entrepreneur, and he loved his job. He loved what he did so much that he would work Christmas, and it was more of a chore to, I got to stop for Christmas, because I'm out here making money. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand what that was like until I found writing and marketing and all of it together. And then I have to make a point too. I'm putting the phone away, I'm putting everything away, and we're going to celebrate, and walk away, because there's always something to do. And for the most part, except for bookkeeping, I enjoy what I do.
Yeah, bookkeeping is not my favorite subject either.
No.
Yeah, I try to stay away from that as much as. But that's why I hire an accountant. Let them take care of all that stuff.
Yes.
I don't have the time or the inclination to spend in bookkeeping.
Well, my oldest sister does my books before we send it to the CPA. And I send the stuff to her, and then she checks my math and does everything. And the good thing is that, my older sister's doing it. The bad thing is that my older sister's doing it. And she'll be like calling me and say, you need to tell me what this is. And I'll say, well, I don't know right now. Well, look into it. It's that older sister running the show. So she keeps me on my toes.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's always good to have somebody watching over your shoulder.
Yes,
No, it's not.
definitely.
No, it's not.
Well, depends on the sibling, maybe.
Well, yeah. And the circumstance.
And the circumstance.
And the
yes.
circumstance, of course. So, was there a moment when you realized that that mystery, not romance, not literary fiction, was the lane that you wanted to operate in?
Yes, I failed at romance. I tried that first because I like to read romance. I like historical romances, especially because I love the detail about the history. And I tried my hand at several romances, and I even submitted to a big publisher in England, and they were very kind. They said, "This is not for us, but don't give up. We think you show potential." And it was probably just their form letter, but I believed them. So I kept going. And it was about the third, fourth book in when I threw a dead body into it all. And then it just came to life for me. And I realized that romance is tough for me. I can do it as a subplot, and I love to have it as subplots, and plot lines, but I really kind of need something else. And, it started with mystery, and it moved to mystery a lot of times with supernatural or mystery with adventure. I started off way back when they wanted you to pick a team. Are you mystery? Are you romance? What are you writing here? You need to have, 60% be this genre. And I was running, 30, 30, 30 with a mixture of genres. And it caused me a lot of, headaches, hitting my head against the wall a lot. But I didn't give up. I just kept going with what felt right. And fortunately, ebooks really started becoming a thing, and Amazon. And it allowed those of us who do this kind of a thing to have a place on the bookshelf now, the virtual bookshelf. So did I answer your question or just go off on a crazy tangent?
No, you were on a little tangent there, but it was informative.
Did I answer?
Not quite. But.
So it was sometime in the midst of several books in, I thought, no more. I'm not going to do romance as the main, plot. I'm going to mix in mystery, and I'm going to see how this feels, and maybe some ghosts or something. And it just developed from that, and it kept getting bigger. And that was before I actually published. I was entering contests and stuff like that, but it wasn't until I had changed over that I actually landed an agent and then ended up getting, that's a whole nother story. I almost got published by a big New York house, but they thought that my audience wasn't big enough because it was more middle America where the story was set. So I went forth solo, started a small press, published through that, and went from there. And it just blew up. It was wonderful to feel like, hey, we were right. I was right. This does have legs on it, even though it's middle America.
I think these big name houses are very skewed in their opinion of about 80% of the country, to be honest with you. I think, if you're not in a major metropolitan setting, they're really not going to give you an opportunity, which is unfortunate. It really is.
It was, I had the editors on my side, and I'd gone through months of editing with the story. And it was actually my Nearly Departed in Deadwood, the first of my Deadwood mystery series. And it wasn't till the final meeting, it was marketing that said, we don't think that this book will sell because it's set, where it is, instead of set on the coast or in a city. So I was then doubly gung-ho to learn as much marketing as I could and push it anyway.
So now, before you became a best-selling author, though, what were you doing to pay the bills?
I was a technical writer, and I fell into that too. I always say I fall into things, kind of backward. So I was going to college. Let's see if I can condense this really quickly. I went to 4 different colleges because I kept moving around the country. And the colleges, the last one was University of Washington. And I really wanted to have a Spanish degree. But I had to go to night school because I had to work at the same time, and I could only go in the evenings, and they had 10 programs, and one was English. So I thought, fine, I'll do English, whatever. I keep having to take English classes at every college I go to. So I might as well do this. So the universe was just going, you're going to do this. So then I went for a job interview, and I went to be a secretary because I thought I can do this. I've done that before. I could just work my way through college. And they said, hey, you've got English on your resume. We need a tech writer. you want to be one of our tech writers? And I said, sure. What does a tech writer do? And so that's how I got into tech writing. And I spent 14 years doing that before I was able to quit and write full time back in, that was 2013 when I was able to quit.
So what does a tech writer do?
So what I did was, we were a banking software company, and I would do the user guides for the tellers, for the managers, teaching them our software. So I just had to, find the words to best describe, how to push this button, do this, to do this, And so that was, it was a great job because it really forced me to work on my English skills in a different way than college did. Tech writing is a different sort of writing than fiction. Although I used to joke with my boss that I was going to put a dead body or a sex scene in one of the user guides. And she would be like, and I said, because people would tell me, well, we don't read the user guides. And I was like, well, if I put something like that in, I'll bet you everybody will read the user guides.
But how would they know if they don't read it?
Well, it would start getting around because somebody would read it and then it would start spreading. You got to read this user guides. But I didn't.
There's always one tech geek that'll read it.
I didn't. I was good. She was like, don't you dare. She was very supportive of my writing too. She knew I was doing it on the side. So
I would have done it anyway. I would have.
It would have been entertaining.
Well, sure. And then you would have had a place cemented in the history of tech writing.
Right. Exactly.
So I guess that it's normal though for a writer to, I guess have to take time to develop the particular genre that they feel comfortable writing in, right? I mean, you're not just going to jump out of the gate and throw yourself into a specific genre and take off and become, the best-selling book you've ever written and ever will write. I'm sure it does take time, right?
Well, there are those people that they jump right in. They know exactly what they want and they go forward. Those are the people that come out of high school and they go right into their, degree program or whatever, or they land the job they always wanted. I was not one of those. So yeah, it takes some time to, for me, because I didn't want to do this. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't, I just happened to get a master's in, or not a master's, a degree with creative writing because I was partway there and I just thought, well, we might as well finish this now, and we just get it creative writing. That sounds fun. But yeah, it's, for me, it was book 5 where I really started to feel like, oh, I think I need to write mystery. Actually, book 3, and I have never published this. It's called Identity Crisis, and I wrote the whole thing. But in the middle, my critique group used to joke that I had an identity crisis, and I went from writing romance at the beginning of the story, and by the end, we had a dead body, and it was a mystery. So, it was like this gradual shift of quit trying to write just this and maybe mix it up. And then book 7 was Nearly Departed in Deadwood, which I later went on to be the first book that, we actually published. It won multiple, national awards and all that good stuff. So it was definitely a process for me.
But at what point did you realize that, okay, man, this is actually starting to work for me?
I think it was after I had my daughter, 2007, I said to my husband, all right, I'm going to get serious about this. And I was still working a full-time day job with 2 little kids. And I said, I'm going to get serious about this fiction thing now. And he said, well, what have you been doing? Because you've been writing books. And I said, but I'm going to now pursue this because I think I can make a career out of this for me to leave tech writing eventually and go into this, career. I think I can do it. I'd learned enough about marketing books. I'd really educated myself. I was doing better with the books where I had an agent. I was getting, interest outside of, just family. And so it was becoming something. And I knew I had to sink a lot more time into the marketing aspect to make this thing fly. So I was still going to work. And I did. I mean, that was 2007. And I didn't quit my job for 7 more years. So I was, juggling children, this thing I was writing late into the night and a full-time job. We were juggling all over trying to make this thing work, for our family. And I just persevered. I mean, that's the key right there is just keep pushing, head down, keep pushing forward.
Well, that's important. I also think, I'm not a writer. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I don't do publishing or anything like that. But I would imagine too that a lot of writers don't persevere. A lot of them actually do kind of just, well, I didn't sell 1 million copies my first time out. I'm just going to put this thing away.
Yeah, it's really scary when you first put that first book out there, and it's really hard. I mean, some authors win the lotto and they go big, but majority of us, you just kind of head on out. I was fortunate. It was a good time in the publishing world. Ebooks were just really on the rise. I could get into Amazon, and the competition was like, 500,000 books compared to 8 million books now that you're competing with. They had just started the free. You could, put your book in the free program. And a friend talked me into that, and boom, 4,000 copies just went away. People, got the free book. And I thought, oh Lord, what have I done? I just gave it away to everybody. But it ended up really working out. And I still have a lot of those fans from that first book. They'll be like,
Sure.
I've been with you since, we got the first one. So, yeah, I think a lot of it for most of us, there's always hard work and you persevere, but there's also, at least for me, there's a little bit of luck that comes into it. But it's luck because you've positioned yourself right to be open to something good to happen.
Right.
I was fortunate enough to be a question on Jeopardy. Yeah, it's
Really? That didn't come up when we did your background.
and Charles Wright's mysteries set in this, haunted city or something like that. And it's What is Deadwood? But yeah, I was
Wow.
things like that was just amazing moments along the journey that have happened. Yeah, so that again is right place, right time. The books were out there available. It happened to work out with whoever was writing the questions. I think they were doing a South Dakota thing, and I was in South Dakota, with the books at that point. So yeah, it's a wonderful ride if you can get away from, I'm not a bestseller, I'm not huge, I'm not this, if you can just keep going and enjoy the little, things that come along the way.
The small victories.
Yes, exactly.
Now, I just have to interrupt you for 1 second because I got to bring this up to the audience. Folks, this is another first for us. Do you realize this? Not only have we had Nobel Peace Prize nominees,
Wow.
not only have we had theologians and movie producers on this show, but now we have someone who's actually a question on Jeopardy.
I know, right? It's crazy. It was a crazy moment. And every now and then they run,
But did you know? Like,
No.
you were just watching the show, or somebody watched the show and called you?
I
and
was
told you?
I was at work in West Coast, so I was on Pacific time. My mom
Okay.
was in the Black Hills, is where she had lived, near Deadwood, and so there were 2-hour time difference. And she contacted me and said, actually 1 hour. She said, I just got a call from a friend of mine on the East Coast, and I was at work when she did this, and I was like, yeah. And she goes, you're on Jeopardy. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm at work, not doing anything, nothing to do with Jeopardy. She's like, no, you're on Jeopardy. And I said, I think I'd know if I ever went on Jeopardy. And I have not. I'm not that smart, Mom. I can't do it. And she was like, oh, you do not understand. You are a question on Jeopardy. And then I was like, what? And by then all my coworkers had kind of gathered around, like, what's going on? And sure enough, I started getting more emails from different readers from all over going, I just saw you're on Jeopardy. You're a question on Jeopardy. And so I was able to, my brother was able, he filmed it as it came on because I was transitioning from home to work, or work to home. And so I was able to, see it. It was really cool. And what was cooler was it was a star show. And Lewis Black, the comedian, was on there.
I know
And
Lewis Black, yeah.
nobody knew the answer, which you might think is bad, but in reality, that means you sit there with your name on the screen while they do the music and everybody tries to think of the answer. So you get more time.
Oh, so you were a final Jeopardy question.
Well, I don't know how that was final. It was just a question, but the problem was nobody knew the answer. So for like 10 seconds, my name just sits
Okay.
up there as they
All right.
can't figure out the answer.
So it's free advertising
Yeah, so I was like,
on
wow,
on a national stage. That's awesome.
it's actually good not to be known, because
There you
then
go.
it made so I got more airtime, which was amazing. So yeah, it was quite an
Fantastic.
experience. We were just disbelief about it.
That's fantastic. My sister just texted me actually while you were talking that she said, and don't forget, Aunt Connie was on Jeopardy. She was a contestant.
Oh, cool.
I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Super smart. Super smart.
So I don't remember, but apparently, yeah. So I'll have to talk to her about that later. That's funny. Wow. So see, I'm telling you, folks, you only get this type of stuff here on this show.
I know, right?
I'm telling
On the
you.
Joe Rooz Show. This is where it's at.
That's right. That's right. So, so you have been honored with the label of USA Today best-selling author. Number one, well, I'm not going to break the podcasting rule and ask you two questions at once. So I'll ask you one at a time.
Okay.
So how did that come about? And then I'll wait for the next.
So that was another another Ann Charlesism. So I was
Charlesism.
I was using BookBub, which is popular among readers, especially back, in the mid 2015 area. So I used BookBub, and you have to apply to get a BookBub deal, and it's really hard. And I had landed a BookBub deal, and the book was the fourth in my Deadwood series, and we dropped it to 99 for the sale, and it blew up big, and it went way up. Like we said, USA Today, I think it was in the top 10 on all of Amazon. It just went big. It was the timing was right on that deal, and it hit just right. So yeah, it blew way up. And I didn't know about the USA Today bestseller deal. I went on with my life for another year and a half, and I was doing, other things. And I got another BookBub like a year or so later. And they put in the description, USA Today bestseller, Ann Charles, and then they talk about your book. And I was like, ooh, they got that wrong. They must have me confused with someone else. I got messed up on the spreadsheet, whatever. And I debated on saying something, but it's hard to get a BookBub deal. So I didn't want to make any waves. Sure. So I said, okay, whatever. We'll just let it go and slide it through. Well, then like 4 months later, I got another BookBub deal. And again, USA Today bestseller, Ann Charles. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. I can't lie. This makes me feel this is wrong. I've got to let him know. So I told a friend of mine, I'm like, I got to tell him this is not right. It's false advertisement. And she goes, well, just wait a second. Let me look you up. Because back then you could look up in the USA Today, best-selling author database. And so she did. She goes, do you realize a year and a half ago you hit the list? It said, oh man, that's a year and a half I could be promoting with that. Again, I think marketing, I could have been using that to promote. And all this time I had no idea. So yes, it was a big surprise to me. And BookBub had to tell me twice to get it to go through my head.
That's hysterical.
So yeah, that's why I say it's an Ann Charlesism. It just happens.
I created a banner for you, but I misspelled it, so I had to go back and fix it. So we have Ann Charlesism scrolling across the screen here.
It's perfect.
There you go.
So yeah, that's how that happens. What was the second question?
The second was, so how do I phrase this without sounding insulting? So having that title, what does that actually mean in practical terms for you?
So in practical terms,
did that sound offensive? I didn't mean it to be offensive.
No. It's good to know, because you see New York Times bestseller, USA Today bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller. At the risk, I don't want to insult those who have been on the New York Times bestseller list, but the New York Times bestseller list is based off pre-sales. When the salespeople go out to bookstores and they sell a bunch ahead of time. And someone actually did this thing where I think it was she went out and got bookstores to order thousands and thousands and thousands of books and get her on the list. And then they turned around and said, no, we cancel the order, but they got her on the list. So then they had to adjust that so people couldn't screw with the list like that to get on it. So with USA Today bestsellers, it's based on actual sales. Okay. So to readers, it's not pre-sales. And that's why you don't see, a lot of indie authors. We used to be able to hit the USA Today bestseller list, but we couldn't really hit New York Times because we have to be with a publisher that has the sales team that goes out and sells in advance.
Gotcha.
Since though, I do believe the USA Today bestselling list has shut down in the last year or two. I think it's over. And they don't do it. Wall Street Journal was another one I do believe is based off sales. So that's another, when they have that on their list of, bestsellers, that's impressive too.
Interesting. And when you mentioned that New York Times did it on pre-sales, that I reminded me of something a few years ago. I remember reading someplace. I'm not going to say the person's name because I remember the name clearly. It's because it's somebody popular. Actually purchased like huge amounts of his own book.
Yeah.
Just to get the title.
To get on the list. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
they've had scammers doing that, I guess, if you want to call them scammers, doing that to get on lists, which, I get it. It's big marketing, but come on, and that's something I think that the New York Times, the bestseller list, they have to control what they're allowing. They have to be the ones that actually, monitor that.
Yeah, especially a newspaper like the New York Times, very prestigious organization, or at least it was at one point.
Right.
You would think that they have better checks in place to prevent that type of thing from happening, but apparently not.
And that's not saying that a lot of people that are on the list don't sell huge. They actually do sell big. It's just it's not always. That's for the longest time when I was really getting going. You really wanted to hit the USA Today bestseller list more than the others because it meant you got the sales, and then I hit it and had no idea. I was clueless.
But you did.
I did it, and so it was really cool once I had that because then I was like, okay, I don't have to try to ever hit that again. I can just enjoy. I did it. Let's move on to bigger things that I want to do next. I'm not going to get obsessed about this every time because it's easy to get obsessed with hit refresh. Where are my numbers now? And especially when you're newer, it's easy to get into that. And then you start getting so focused on the numbers, you forget about, I'm here to write, entertain, and do this kind of thing and just try to put the best book out I can.
Yeah, and I know what you mean too, because when I first started doing podcasting, I did the same thing. Every 10 minutes, I was checking to see how many downloads, and it didn't serve any purpose. It really didn't.
Right, and that's, I just had another BookBub deal go through on, was it the 14th or the 13th? It was Friday, the 13th. And in the old days, I would have just all day long been watching those numbers like on Amazon and all over. But now I kind of forget because we promote it, but I'm not going to, I can't obsess on that. There's too many other things in life to obsess about. So
Exactly right. And I'm the same way now too. I hardly ever check my stats to see where things are. I do need to do better at checking those things because, as the show is growing and getting more heard of, I'm starting to get asked those questions. So who are you reaching? And, what are your numbers here? And what are your numbers there? And what's your video downloads? What's your audio downloads and all that stuff? So I do have to start paying more attention to it. And the big thing they're asking for now, I don't know what they do as far as writing goes, but the thing they're asking for now is how many hours are being listened to or watched. So
I could see.
So the number of downloads doesn't matter really so much anymore. It's how long is the audience engaged?
Right. Are they there, or is it just a bounce off it? Or that sounds like the YouTube behind the scenes. As I learn more about YouTube and work at building my channel there.
That was YouTube's thing for a while, and now all the other platforms are starting to keep track of those things as well. So it's important, but again, like you said, you can't sit there all day long looking at that thing and keep on hitting that refresh button. There are other things that you need to focus on.
You'll start to rate yourself on a personal level on your numbers, and that is a dark hole to go down. You don't want to go down there, and hard to crawl back out of. So your self-worth has to be based off what you're providing, I think, to readers and the emails you get and the contacts and focusing on that, because there's just too many different entities reminding us, well, you've only sold this much and this one sold this much, or you are only doing this, or you only ranked here. I'm still in the game and I'm still playing, and there's people that love the stories. So let's just focus on that and keep going.
Exactly. I love that you said that, because that's exactly the direction that I've been going lately with the show itself. It's, I don't care, how many downloads or views I get. Like right now, there are tens of people watching right now.
Yes.
Okay? And it doesn't matter. As long as those tens of people are getting something out of the content, I'm happy with that.
Exactly. That's what matters, is what you're offering to those who come come, driving by your thing and stop and go, oh, look at this, and dial in. And then, that's what it's about, is we're out here to entertain and take people away from some of the hardships that they're going through in life.
Exactly. Just a momentary escape from the realities of every day.
Yes, very much so.
That's what it is. So now, of course, there are thousands of mystery writers out there. There's, so what do you do that's different?
Well, that's a good question. I mix the genres up. I mean, it's mixed in a way that's only Ann Charles, type of recipe, and Ann Charles's voice. Talking about myself in third person makes me sound a little crazy, huh? But I just am out here to bring, this, and I write series, so this helps bring these characters to life enough for you that you want to take a break and go hang out with them. You want to spend time with them. And what's really fun about the Deadwood series and then my Undertaker series that I co-write with my husband, Sam Lucky, is Deadwood is a real place in South Dakota. It's a historic town, and we've based so much off real history or real places that are public spaces. So for those that read either series, but especially the contemporary one that I write, you can go to Deadwood, you can go see this place, you can go to the police station, you can go here, and it's just as I described it. So it makes it brings it to life in a whole nother way. Plus, Deadwood's a lot of fun. They're a big tourist town. They have gambling if you like to gamble, but they have a lot of history if you don't. Family events, adult events. It's just fun to go visit. So I think that's a really cool thing with this series. That those two series it's based on some, real place, and it brings it to life even more. The setting is one of the main characters, along with everything else.
Mm-hmm. Now, so how do you balance comedy with suspense without really affecting the tension level in the story?
That's a good question. Well, there's always room, almost always, for a little laughter, smile, even when it's scary,
Sure.
Even when it's sad. And I don't know about you, but in real life, I'm always seeking out that little moment of chuckling. We talked about our parents passing. My mom had passed, and at the hospital, it was heartbreaking, but still I'd talk to a sibling or someone and just crack a joke or find a little something to laugh at. And my mom would have loved it because she laughed at times like that. So, I think just blending in that humor, and I didn't realize it was a big deal. And I don't mean it like a big deal, but that it was a hard thing to do until I had another comedy writer who, she's amazing. She said, have you ever thought about how hard it is to blend comedy? How rare it is if you can pull off comedy with something scary or comedy with something, drama. She goes, it's not an easy thing writing comedy. And I said, oh, don't say that to me. Now I'm going to think about it every time I write it.
Right. Yeah. That's going to be in the back of my mind the whole time.
But if I can make myself laugh while I'm telling the story, while I'm writing the dialogue, then I know, I've hit it. I guess I'm entertaining myself when it comes down to it. And anyone that shares my sense of humor. So, just including that in.
Well, the thing is, though, in like you said, in real life, even in the darkest times, there is a pause for a moment to smile about something and laugh about something.
Right.
You could be going through the worst part of your life, but you're going to laugh at some point at something.
Yes.
So
I think
that's just normal.
We need that. We need that little moment, because whether, I get a lot of emails from readers who they have a loved one in the hospital dying, and they read the books together, or really sick and they're worried about it. They read the books. Sure. Just all kinds of stories like that are heartwarming, that they thank, me and other authors have this too, for giving them something light in the midst of something so hard and tragic.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, okay, I have to ask. All right, spicy mystery. All right.
So I say that because
thank you.
I am not a cozy mystery writer. Have you heard of cozy mysteries?
I've heard the term, but I'm not familiar with exactly what it is.
So cozy tends to be more like there's, a lot of times they have quilts, themes of like pets, things. They have like small town diner themes,
I see.
and not
Okay.
only small town, but really what it means is there's not really much language, and the topics aren't super dark, like grisly murder or horror stuff. And there's not sex scenes on the page. It's
Mhm.
usually a closed door, a kiss, close the door, and you move on to the next. Well, I like to joke, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But in all seriousness, I nearly departed in Deadwood. There's little girls that have gone missing. It's dark. I mean, and then I blend humor with that. That's really not a cozy. And as you read the series, it's gritty, I guess is the word for it. And all my books tend to be more blue collar gritty. So I don't feel like I fit into the cozy
Mhm.
mystery market. And as a matter of fact, if somebody says, this is Anne, she writes cozy mysteries, I'm like, oh, time out, time out. It's not cozy, because if you would jump into that, you're going to go, whoa, wait a second. That's not what I was expecting. That doesn't mean it's, sex all the time. It's just that there is a scene, usually one or so, and it's not long and drawn out. I'm not that good at, writing erotica, because if I was, I would, because they make big bucks, but I don't.
Well, sex sells. Yeah. So
Sex really sells. But I do have, some sex scenes, and I don't go into detail about body parts either, but I let you use your imagination. But I just wanted to be clear that spicy means there's language. I do have swearing. The F-bomb is in there, not too much, but it's like what I grew up in, blue collar.
right.
And
Normal, everyday human life.
exactly. You swear. Like my mom one time, she was taking my books to her church and having people read them, and I was like, Mother, what are you doing?
Oh no.
Those books have sex in them. And she goes, oh, darling, everybody in church has had sex too. I was like, okay, well, as long as you're letting them know. And she's like, yeah, they know. They're
It's
like,
a valid
whatever.
point. It's a valid point.
Yeah. So that's what spicy means. And if you get into, especially like the romance industry, and that's where I started, so I kind of always lean back into that. They'll say, one fire level, 2 fires, 3 fires, 4 fires, and each one gets more sexy, more heated, I guess, if you would. So I use spicy. It's another term.
And it works well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun because they are spicy. It's not going to be just Jessica. Oh, what was that? Like a Nancy Drew. It's not a Nancy Drew. Oh, no, 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 no. So, yeah. And there's some horror mixed in. I mean, these supernatural is not like little furry Ewoks running around in this story.
Sure.
I mean, there's some really nasty, scary, vicious villains that I deal with.
I love a good ghost story. I do.
Yes,
I
me
do.
too.
And
I
have a few I have a few I could tell you about too. But we'll get to that in a sec, because I want to get on here with this. I want to get into the actual projects because I'm looking at the clock already. So you're also part of a couple of, I guess they're literary groups, would you call them? Sisters in Crime and Western Writers of America?
Yes, I actually am not this year. I've pulled
Okay.
back away. I have been in the past. I was once Romance Writers of America. Those guys, and then I moved away from them. I did Sisters in Crime for probably 10 years. And then I was with Western Writers of America because the Deadwood Undertaker series is, if you like Old West, it's Old West Deadwood in the 1870s, mixed with supernatural. So it's a real fun blend of this craziness. And it's the prequel to my modern day Deadwood series. So some of the characters cross over, and it's a lot of fun. So I was with that group, and I may go back with them. Sometimes I go, oh, I'm going to pull back for a little bit and just focus on writing, and kind of do that. And then I'll go back and want to go out again.
But what do organizations like that do for your career?
Well, what they do is they offer conferences. I am with NINC, which is Novelist Incorporated, and they'll have a conference, and you'll go to it. And depending on what it is, like Western Writers of America, they're going to have opportunities for fans to come, buy books, but they're also going to have maybe marketing talks, writing talks about how to draw a good Western character out on the page, that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of authors getting with authors. I tend to like to go to more reader events because I I don't do well at big conferences that are
I
writers,
see.
I tend to go, oh, here's this list of workshops. Overwhelmed. I'm going to go sit at the bar, or I'm going to go, meet this person who's out smoking and talk to them private one-on-one. So I
I'm
struggle
like
with
that too. Yeah.
those big ones. I am going to 2 this year that are just 20 authors or less kind of get-togethers that are all about heavy-duty brainstorming, marketing. And I'm very excited about that because I don't think I'm going to run into that, where it's too much. It's overwhelming.
Is that what most of these things are like? Is mostly the marketing side of it, or is it actually like you sit down and get creative and like pool ideas?
I think a lot of them have classes on writing good characters, on developing a setting, making a setting, a character. It's how to, all the basics of writing, a lot of that stuff, show, don't tell. And that's another reason I don't tend to go, is because I've done that. I mean, without giving away too much, I'm 30 years into this.
Mhm.
So I'm still learning always, don't get me wrong, but I learn by watching movies or reading other books, or just what I go for is marketing, kind of coming together for that, because and those who are going to these smaller ones with me will be there for that, because we all write book. We all know what we're doing. We've been writing books, we're selling. So we're here to share, network, market,
Sure.
and that kind of stuff.
And I guess going to a reader event as opposed to a writer's event is also, it's smart marketing too, because you're interacting with the audience, you're interacting with your readers, you're interacting with
Right.
people that maybe haven't read your book or don't really know who you are, but now here's your chance to sit down and talk to them and get them to buy your books.
Yeah,
And
and I know that's overwhelming for some people, some authors, because we tend to be more, stay at home in our office and write. But I do feel like I can sell. That sounds cold, but I can get more people interested in reading my books if they hear me talk. Not that I'm this great orator, and I just knock them down. It's just I try to make them laugh when I tell, when I do workshops, and that translates into them wanting to read the books, because that's what my books. It's me, and I'm going to
Right.
make you laugh there. So I think it's really good that way, and that's what I get out of like Festival of Books at different places. You get a chance to talk to readers and give workshops to them on subjects that are more interesting to them, rather than talk about writing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So what's the latest project that you're working on?
So I have 2 going, because I'm working with my husband brainstorming, and he's writing the 6th book in the Deadwood Undertaker series, Blow Your Hat Off. So we're working on that. We brainstorm over coffee in the morning and set up scenes. Then he goes off and works his magic. And at the same time, I'm working on the 7th book in the Jackrabbit Junction mystery series, which is not so much supernatural in that one, but it's a lot of adventure, treasure hunting, action, humor. 3 sisters that they end up in jail for the poor small town sheriff, or small county sheriff. He's tired of them, but he does like them too. So it's fun. So I'm working on book 7 in that, because if I don't, I think my readers are going to hunt me down, find me on Google Maps and come here and pull a misery thing. Because
Well, let's just hope not.
Well, I've had a couple slow years. I used to write 2 to 3 books easy a year, but
Okay.
I mentioned to you, my father was in the hospital with a burn that was 5 weeks in the hospital every day, with him kind of. And then my mom died. She went in the hospital and died within a year. So
I'm
it
sorry.
knocked me, it knocked me down, and I slowed down to 1 book a year. And that's hard in this market, when everybody's putting out so many books. And here I am, 1 book a year. But I do write long books. I mean, I write 125,000 books. That's thicker. Oh, I can show you. Like, here's a bit, it's not a shorter book. So it takes me longer. But I'm a slow writer. So, I do what I can. But anyway, I just working on both of those projects and trying to get the Deadwood mystery series book 15 out maybe at the end of the year. Fingers crossed.
And I've been knocking this thing all night. It's a new mic position for me, so it's driving me crazy too. So
I've been trying to not use my hands so much. Hold on to something.
Well,
But I'm a hand talker.
Well, that's what I do. That's why I always have this thing in my hand, because I'm doing that. I'm Italian, so
you gotta have.
I emote.
Yes,
You know?
you gotcha.
That's the way it is. So without giving up too much information on this, what's the I guess, what's the central conflict in the book you're working on now?
Well, I don't want to give the twist away. This is the Morgan sisters. There's 3 of them in the Jackrabbit Junction series. And the oldest one was once married to this guy. She thought he was, big, a big guy in politics. Turns out he was dirty and he was laundering money for some really bad guys and ended up going into prison, getting caught. Everything she thought she owned, the oldest one, turned out he had mortgaged or was fake jewelry, all this stuff. And so she got really knocked down. And in the meantime, he's worked for a lot of bad guys and bad people, I should say. And he's rolling over on them while he's safely tucked away in a prison cell, a comfortable prison cell. And she's out there, and they weren't even really married. He had another wife she didn't know about. But bad guys keep coming. I should say bad people keep coming for her to kill her because they think, send him a finger in the mail and he might, listen to them. So unfortunately, she's getting, hunted down all the time. So there's that. Each sibling has something going on with a mystery. So the thing with the Jackrabbit series and all of my books, but this in particular, is I'm weaving 3 main plots together, and creating this, rug, blanket, whatever you want, with the 3 different sisters. And yet there's a lot of humor in their interactions, and they're siblings, and the way they act with each other. One is pregnant now, legitimate, but the hormones are making her a little riskier than, do things she never would have, that lands them in jail. So it's just a lot of fun. It's like rowdy, fun times in the desert.
Sounds like
with
it.
Treasure hunting, some really nasty folks coming through. It's spicy. I've got these 3 old Army vets, and I'm talking in their late 60s, early 70s. And each of them, at the very first book, they're there to pick up women. They've come down to this, birding RV park, and they've lined up babes, and they're shopping. And
Nice.
the first one is the middle daughter, Claire. She's in her 30s, but she's there with him to keep her grandpa from a gold digger coming around, and they don't want her there, and they're just like playing cards, eating chili,
Nice.
letting it all hang out, and stay out of the camper if it's rocking, because I got a babe in here, And so it's a lot of
fun. Gotta hang something on the doorknob.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of fun, and that's what I always say about the Jackrabbit series, is it's just a wild and rowdy ride.
That
Lots of
sounds
good
like
times.
it. So who's gonna love this and who's not?
Well, I got a lot of the readers I have, because I do crossovers, like you'll have characters from this series that show up in the Jackrabbit series and so forth. There's a lot of readers that love all the different series, but it's mostly those who came in on the Jackrabbit series. That was the first book they tried. It just seems like when people come in on a series, that's their favorite. And they come in by book bub deals or different sales, or they caught me somewhere and I was selling this new book. So they're going to love it. And I've been hearing for like over a year, when is the next Jackrabbit? So I'm working away to get them that.
So give me one scene or one element that you had the most fun writing.
Whew. I think the first, the start of, I think it's book 4. Claire, one of the sisters, and the younger sister, Kate, who's pregnant, are in jail. It starts right out. And she's like, what sucks about being in jail? And the sister's like, the smelly cots. She's like, no, being in jail because of you. It sucks. And it turns out the sister had gotten mad at this deputy, that sheriff's deputy, that keeps picking at her. He doesn't like her. And so they had battled, argued, and a shopping cart had been involved. And the middle sister, who's not happy about being there, she had tried to stop the shopping cart from hitting the deputy, but in the end fell into him and elbowed him. So he threw him in jail, because this is a long running thing. It's not like just, out of the blue. So anyway, scenes like that, I just love the sister thing. It's not like heartwarming Hallmark sisterly
There's a natural,
thing.
real dynamic between them.
These sisters are, and they're each tough in their own way, but yet they will die for each other. They'll do whatever they have to.
Well, that's like a normal sibling relationship.
Exactly.
My sister and I, we clash at times, but I love her to death, and I would do anything to help her and protect her, of course.
Yeah. And I do have to say, my husband, we're working on that Western, the 1870s Deadwood Undertaker series. Man, the fun stuff that we come up with, and then he puts on the page, and it's always fun for me to read what he's done. He's so creative. He writes songs that the girls up on the stage sing, just little bits of it. And I'm like, how do you do all this? He goes, I don't know. I just hear the songs and I hear this. And I love hanging out with those characters because I always
That's
wanted to write a
amazing.
Western, but it's hard because you can't screw it up. You got to know your guns. You got to know what
Yes.
words they used and all that good stuff because readers are smart.
Yes.
And so I love what we put out together with and what he comes up with is so much fun.
And you will have one of those correctisons letting you
Oh
know.
yeah. readers are smart. I write series, and like the Deadwood's up to 15. I have a person, she does this for work now, where she keeps track of all the plot, all the different things. Like I have over 500 characters in this series.
Wow.
She keeps track of it so that I can go back and not screw it up, to make it a better binge read for the readers.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so what's the most stressful part of the whole process? The writing or the marketing?
The marketing. I mean, writing, it used to be writing, but I'm not saying I'm great. I can always improve, but I've gotten that down a little bit more, and I'm always just trying to enhance that. But marketing shifts, and it used to be every year it shifted, and then it was every 6 months. Now it's monthly. It's like, oh, nope, that's not going to work anymore. We got a whole new game here. You got to try. So I would say the marketing is the toughest, because what I did back in 2012, 2014, and so on, it doesn't work. I have to do something different now.
Right.
And you have to keep learning to do that.
Do you think that marketing the spicy content is easier or harder right now?
I think I guess I don't notice a difference. I do know readers that'll say only, I don't really read anything that's not cozy. And I often tell people, listen, if you're uncertain, like I've had, 80-year-old wonderful women come up and say, I'm curious about your books. I'm like, go read the bad reviews. Because the bad reviews will tell you if there's sex in it, if there's language in it, all that good stuff.
True.
And it'll let them know. And I'll say, well, there's some language and it's spicy. And 9 times out of 10 or even more, they'll be like, psst, I know all about sex. I've dealt with, I know all about it. No problem. I can read that. So it's like, okay. But like I said, I'm not even a romance now. I don't even rate on the romance. Amazon once accidentally put me in erotica, and I wrote to them and I was like, you got to get me out of erotica because I'm going to get bad reviews because I'm not doing enough on that score. They're going to be very disappointed in my books if they wanted an erotica story.
Yes, I mean, if you want erotica, I'll write it for you, but that's not what this is. All right,
That's
I get
not what
you.
this is. Get me out of that category before somebody starts giving me bad reviews about it.
No, I get you. And and getting bad reviews suck.
Yes.
It does. And I don't care how many reviews you've gotten. You get that one bad review, and that just sets you. Disclosure: I got my first bad review recently on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
And it made me think that this person didn't even actually listen to any of the shows.
Yeah.
That they wrote their review on the show based off the show description.
Oh yeah, they just and that happens. The bots and all that kind of stuff happen to.
Yeah.
So I
hurts.
actually I don't read my reviews, and it's not because I think I'm so great. It's because I cannot take the constant hits, and it makes you second guess what you're doing a little bit. For some reason, they are brighter and uglier by far, but they're so much bigger than the good reviews. And so I try to stay away from reviews, to be honest, because the good reviews then make me think, oh boy, what if I can't do this again?
Right.
That might have been my last. And every book I say that to my husband,
Yeah.
I don't think I can do this again. And he's like, you're going on book 40. I think you can do this. But there's always that self-doubt.
Yeah, I'm like that too. This show tonight is episode 260.
Awesome.
And
and just finally you got a bad review. That's awesome.
Just recent, yeah.
That's
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's your we used to say in the romance world, and let me think of a better way to say that. That's your you're no longer a romance virgin. There's a crude saying that I could say, but we won't do that here on the air. But that's what they used to say. You wanted your first bad review because it got you through that. Now you can go on and just live your,
I'll say
succeed.
it for you. It popped a cherry.
Bingo.
Okay.
Yes. And
That's
that
all
was the
right.
first. So you wanted a bad review, so you got through that and
Oh,
you
yeah.
could move on.
Yeah,
And
I
now
wasn't
go.
bitter. I mean, I just badmouthed the person that left the review for 2 shows, but you know, but I'm not bitter. I forgive.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I forgive. Kind of. No, I'm kidding.
Kind of. No. Yeah. Well, it's they left the review. It's your right to be able to, react
Respond
to it.
and retort.
Mhm.
So, if someone that's watching, listening right now, has a story in their head but no clue where to start, what's the first step?
I would say start thinking about what you want to write. But if you don't know, like I didn't, just start writing. Start telling the story that's in your head. Maybe you never thought you were going to write romance. Maybe you're a guy that didn't think he was going to write romance. There are a lot of really they're amazing romance writers that are men, and they're doing great. Or maybe you didn't ever think you were going to write a Western, but try
Right.
it. Just whatever story really, I hit it again. Whatever story really sticks with you, try writing it and see how you do. And maybe that'll be what you write, or maybe you'll write something totally different, like what I do. This was not in the game plan, but it's what really my brain wanted to do. So, you got to start somewhere to find out, though.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. Perfect. All right. So, who is someone that you respect right now, and what are they doing that inspires you?
Oh boy. Okay, so on YouTube, there's a couple different characters, but there's a guy, he's moved to the Italian Alps. I love him. His name's Martine, I think. I can't pronounce his last name. He's from, I think, Amsterdam. And he has bought this old stone house up in the mountains, and he's been redoing it by hand. He's 4 years into this. He's got a big following. He does beautiful, relaxing stuff. He has a drone. He doesn't try to do it to impress people. He's just sharing his life as he rebuilds these things.
Mhm.
And I admire his work ethic. He gets up. This is not easy work. He's in his early 40s, I believe. And I love what he does. I love what he offers me, hope that there's good people out there doing stuff like this.
Mhm.
And he also says he's rebuilding these old houses. That's a big, long job. And he's like, it's going to take me as long as it takes me, and that's okay. And I really like that for a writer. The book's going to take you as long as it's going to take you. Stop trying to rush it. Just enjoy the process and do it.
Outstanding. I like that. That's good. I'm going to remember that. Thank you.
He's great. If you want to know, write me afterwards and I'll tell you. I'll just share his YouTube page. I love it.
Okay.
He's got a ton, so it could keep you entertained for a long time.
Yeah, I'll do that. Definitely, for sure. All right. Well, Ann, so it's about that time to wrap this thing up. So where can people go to find out more about you and about your work?
The easiest is my website, anncharles.com. And there's no E, it's just anncharles.com. And you can find all the books and links to the different places where they're found. But I am on YouTube too. And I'm doing shorts. I'm doing all kinds of different stuff. I'm building a place to come. Instead of pushing out into the world all the time and pushing content out, I'm just building this little, some places on Patreon as one, and then on YouTube where you can come and I'm going to entertain you. But I'm going to do it here, and it will always be here, and the algorithms won't push it away and hide it if you come to my channel.
Outstanding. You should come to Rumble too.
Yes, I should.
Do a Rumble channel. I mean, I tell everybody the weather's beautiful here all the time. It's 72 degrees. It's blue skies, white billowy clouds. It is the water's beautiful, pristine.
I'm going to check it out.
Come
definitely.
to Rumble. Come to Rumble.
All right.
And I do that because I have a YouTube channel also, but I have strikes on YouTube already, and I refuse to do the sensitivity training that they want me to do to remove the strikes. So
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the last one, and I'll be gone from there, and I'm fine with that. I don't care. So anybody that's watching on YouTube, you ought to come over to Rumble. Come to Rumble. That's where
I need to go check this out. Yeah, I always love finding new fun places to.
Oh, it's great.
hang out.
Great place. And a new little feature they have on Rumble now is that you could actually set up. They have a Rumble wallet, so you could set up a cryptocurrency tip jar on your Rumble page, so people can donate Bitcoin to you.
All right. Well, I'm going to write that down. Rumble as soon as we're done,
Give it a shot.
and start checking that out because I'm getting away from Facebook more and more.
Yeah, I don't even. I used to stream the show on Facebook. I don't even do that anymore. I don't even put links to the show up on there anymore. All I do is I post the the show's graphic. Hey, on the show tonight we have, and that's it, and
Right,
the links
right.
to Rumble. And so if they want to watch the show, they got to go to Rumble.
That's smart. Yeah, I just think that all these places where we used to be, unfortunately, there's a lot of advertisements and they want a lot of money if we want to reach anybody that has
Yeah.
signed up to follow us, and that's kind of insulting.
It is.
So
I agree.
just kind of fading out there and moving over to somewhere where I can create a really fun world with cool stuff.
That sounds like you have already.
Yeah.
Your literary world that you've created.
I'm trying to, Ann Charles' little empire. I'm building, Maya temples all over, and just beautiful things in a huge city that it connects. It's
There
gonna
you
be
go.
fun.
Perfect. I love the idea. That's a fantastic idea. All right. So do you want to hang out backstage for a sec? And
Sure.
I'll wrap up the show and I'll connect with you
Sure.
in a
And
couple
thank you
seconds.
for having me. It's great. And I hope to meet some of the listeners, find them online.
I hope so too. And this was great. I really appreciate it too.
All right.
All
Cool.
right. I'll see you backstage.
Uh-huh.
All right, folks. Ann Charles, make sure you check out her stuff. I mean, I love the interview. You know what? I say it all the time. We have some of the best guests that you can get. I mean, come on. Got a USA Today bestseller. I mean, come on. We had somebody on the show tonight that had a Jeopardy question for them. That's the way to go, folks. You see, only get that here. Only here. All right? So take your bad reviews and shove them up your, Anyway, folks, it's tax season. And the folks over at Diamond Dynasty Tax Group Legacy would like to help you minimize your stress and greatly improve your refunds. So give them a call. They're a local business here in Eagle Pass. Diamond Dynasty Tax Group Legacy, 830-867-7106. It's 830-867-7106. They did my taxes for me last year. It was last year. And that was the year after we purchased the asylum. And so I had a stack of receipts from all the renovations and all the work we did here. And they took all of that and sorted it all out for me. They did a fantastic job. Not expensive to do that. I mean, anytime you deal with that stuff, it tends to get a little pricey, but they worked with this and it was fantastic. Did a great job. And they really did. They took away a lot of the stress that I was dealing with around the whole thing. And, they got me a good refund. And just to say, my hat's not here. It's over there somewhere. My taxation is theft hat. But remember, when you do get your refund, just keep this thought in mind. It's not free money. Okay? It's not a gift. It's your money that you loaned to the federal government that they are giving back to you without the interest that they should have put on top of it. All right? So when you get your refund, small or large, do yourself a favor. Don't go waste it on something stupid. Invest it smartly. Invest in precious metals, invest in, gold, silver, whatever you can afford. Invest in something. Don't blow it on a big screen TV or something silly. All right? That's your money that you could have used throughout the entire year to save, to invest, take care of your own family needs. Don't blow it. All right? And I'm sure the folks over at Diamond Dynasty appreciate when I go on my little rants like this, but I'm just saying. All right? Okay, great. Well, folks, don't forget I almost forgot. Our shout-outs here, of course, to our producers, executive producers, Wayne Rankin, Rosanna Rankin, Carolina Jimenez, Marissa Lee, and the inestimable Anonymous Angela. Thank you guys so much for all the work that you guys put into putting these shows together with us. So I really do appreciate it. And folks, these folks donate their time, their talent, their treasure. The 3 T's, remember? Yeah, 3. The 3 T's. Time, talent, treasure. All right? That's value for value. That's how we operate here on the show. So if you are getting anything of value from the content we're putting out, all we are asking is that you return that value in the form of a donation. Again, your time, your talent, or your treasure. We appreciate it all. These folks, these executive producers that we have donated their time, their talent, and their treasure. And it's greatly appreciated. We could not do a lot of the stuff that we do. We could not get the guests that we get without them. And it's a huge help to us. So if you want to find out more about how you can help support the show, just head over to the website, joerooz.com/support. You will see all of the different ways that you can help us out, from one-time donations to recurring donations to signing up as an associate producer, or executive producer. All right. If you sign up for one of the producer tiers, you get the shout out on every single show. We call you out by name. You get included in all of our show notes. You get included in the digest emails that we send out once a week. You get included in all of that stuff. The executive producers get to come on the show with us for an hour. That's why we do the Wednesdays with Wayne segment. He comes on the show with us for an hour on Wednesday evening, and we have a great conversation. It could be whatever you want to talk about. It could be about something topical that we're talking about on the show. Or you could do it like what Wayne and I did last Wednesday, where we made up a whole skit on being violated by Sasquatch. Total fun, all parody, none of it true, but we had fun. We talked about Sasquatch poop. It was fun. So you could do that with us too. All right, we need somebody to do an Area 51 thing with us, so let us know. All right, so if you want to get on board with that, just head to joerooz.com/support, and you could sign up all over there. All right, I think that's all I got for you tonight. All right, so folks, again, don't forget to head over to the website, joerooz.com. Leave us a comment, leave us a message down below in the comment section, or be really helpful, head over and leave us a review someplace, a nice one. No less than 4 stars. All right? All right. We appreciate that. All right, folks. Don't forget, make Texas independent again. Go podcasting. Keep a steady stride. More important, keep talking. We'll see you tomorrow night.